Hi everyone, this is Joy for Honeybee Stamps. My project for you today is a really sweet card using the Hugs Enclosed stamp and coordinating die. I'm also going to show you how I did some die cutting of die cuts. Now I'm starting with a light gray piece of cardstock. It is A2 sized, and I'm coming in with the Quilted Heart stencil. This is from the Love Letters release. And I'm inking that up with Distress Oxide ink in Worn Lipstick. I'm using Honeybee Stamps blender brush to ink these little hearts on. This is going to be my die cut background using the Barnwood Planks die. I'm doing the stenciling first because the Barnwood planks also have embossing detail of wood grain. So I wanted that to run through the ink. You could do this after you die cut, but I really wanted it to feel like it is part of the wood pieces. So now that that is all done, here is those dies that I was just talking about. I'm going to line those up on my piece of cardstock here, and then I'm just going to tape them together so it's easy. They don't move around in my die cut machine. So I'm just using some purple tape, taping them in place, making sure everything's fairly even. Not crooked, I need it to be straight. Side to side doesn't really matter because we're going to be using the deckled edge die to cut it out. So now I have a piece of printer paper, super thin, and I added a ton of adhesive to that, just my adhesive runner. And now I'm adhering each one of my strips, my wood planks, down to this in the order that they were stenciled. It makes a difference because the stenciled hearts had a pattern. So once they're adhered down, I'm going to come in with the deckled edge die. This is the deckled edged A2 die, and there's different sizes. I'm just using some low tack tape. I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. And now we've got this great card panel. And isn't that so pretty with the wood grain and the deckled edge? I'm going to die cut one size larger of the deckled edge because I want to come in and ink up the outside edges of this. I want it to match the hearts that we just stenciled on that front panel. So again, I'm coming in with Distress Oxide ink in Worn Lipstick, and I'm only blending around the edge because you're not going to see the center because we will have that other card panel popped up on that. So just the outside edges, and as you can see there, it looks beautiful. Now I am inking up the cute little letters from the Hugs Enclosed stamp set onto some white cardstock with Copic friendly black ink. I'm going to come in and color these pink. I'm starting with R20, then it'll be R32, and then RV14 for a little bit of a darker shadow on the envelopes. Then for the white letter, I'm going to use C1. That gives it's just a very light gray. It makes it not look so flat, but still keeps it looking white. For the hearts, it's going to be R05, 39, and 37. And when I added the C1 to the letter, I just used my blender pen to blend it out just ever so lightly. I'm using the coordinating dies that you can buy for the Hugs Enclosed stamp set. They do have coordinating dies, and I'm going to die cut those. Now that that's done, I want to stamp a sentiment on the letter. So I've got this cute little sentiment that says just for you, but I only want to use the for you. So I'm masking off the other parts of the sentiment, stamping it up, removing the tape, and then stamping the word that is inked up. So the first word was you. And see there, I'm masking off the other two words that I don't need, and I'm only inking up the word for, and I'm going to stamp that right above the word you. Now that that's done, I'm going to stamp up my other sentiment with red ink, and it says Hugs Enclosed, and this has a coordinating die, which I really love about Honeybee Stamps, is the coordinating dies for their sentiments. Then I'm going to tape that down and run that through my die cut machine. The next step is to do some white heat embossing on a background panel for this card. So I have an A2 sized piece of cardstock. I'm using the large background stamp from the Hugs Enclosed stamp set. This just has tons of open and closed envelopes. It kind of matches the little envelopes the smaller ones that come in the set. So I'm just inking that up with Versamark ink. I prepped it with the anti-static powder tool. Now I'm coming in with some white embossing powder, and I'm not worried that I didn't get a great impression in the center because that is going to be covered up. I really was only worried about the outside edges because that's all you're going to see once we put this whole card together. So I'm just going to heat that through until it is melted. And then you've got this great little background. I'm also going to trim this down just a little bit. I want it to be a little bit smaller. This is going to have a lot of layers on this card. So I'm trimming it about 1/8 of an inch on all sides. Now I'm going to adhere my pink inked panel. This is the larger die cut deckled edged panel. Then the smaller one, I am using some foam tape because I did want this to have some dimension. And I'm just going to center that right there. Now I'm going to add the little letters to this card. That letter that has the sentiment will be glued directly to the card panel. And the 2 envelopes will have some foam tape behind that for some dimension. And I'm just going to center those in the card and then off to the side of that main envelope that has the really cute sentiment. And then I'm going to add some foam tape behind this sentiment as well. I wanted that to have a little bit of dimension. Now I'm going to adhere this down to a white A2 size card base. And I'm going to finish this off with some tree hugger hearts. So I'm just using Honeybee Stamps Precision Glue and just adhering those down. And now you can see all of the detail from the Barnwood Planks die, the cute hearts from the Quilted Heart stencil, and those cute little letters and envelopes. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this project. You can find everything that I used for this card listed and linked below. Thanks so much. Bye.